to avoid space. Way beneath them, so that collapsed. They fell down into an area, and then all kinds of rubble and dirt and rock completely buried this individual. They were not just like kind of stuck, they were completely buried. Our firefighters responded immediately. We had people on the scene within about 3 minutes. They set up right away for, this is part trench rescue, this is part confined space rescue, to get in there. They were able to talk to him. He got very fortunate that he had a little bit of a void space around him, so he was able to breathe, but they started digging him out. Now, if you can think about what this involves, this is gravel, this is dirt, these are large chunks of concrete, so you're talking tons and tons of material that has this person buried and pinned, and we're having to slowly dig it out by hand, because every time you move some small bit, you have more stuff that's falling in. Think about a person at the base of a funnel, and that funnel just keeps pouring things down onto them. Again, I give it all credit goes to the firefighters here in Louisville. The men and women on the Louisville Fire Department that got here used their skills, used their talents, used their just absolute tenacity to get in there, dig that person out. They have to set up all kinds of shoring, so much security. This is a very long, very tedious, very slow-going process to do it safely, to make sure that you do not cause additional injury to the individual and slowly get them out. And on that, I also have to say many, many thanks to Louisville EMS. As soon as it was safe, we were able to put a paramedic down there in the hole with this patient, with this victim, that was able to get vital signs, get an IV, get some snacks to this person and fluids so that they could take care of him. This person was talking to us the whole time. He was conscious. He was a Spanish speaker, but we have a couple of multilingual people on the department that were able to translate. So he was conscious and with us the entire time.
He was helping with the...
he was helping, yeah. He was helping to try to dig himself out and was able to describe a little bit about what was going on with him. It was tremendously brave. But again, it was just it was a highly technical, extremely difficult. We've seen a lot of trench rescues over the 24 years that I've been doing this. I've never seen anything like this. And the fact that it was a successful rescue to a victim that was impinged, just unbelievably. Again, all credit goes to the firefighters that were working out here today. If anybody has a few questions, we'll take those.
Can we just talk about the relief of this moment? You coming off the heels of people we couldn't rescue, and this is what you guys show up to work to do. This is a time for celebration.
Absolutely. A tempered celebration, because it was a tragedy in the first place. But yes, this is what our firefighters do. This is why we took this job. We want to help people. And it's not like the movies. You're not always successful. So when you have a success like this, it is a tremendous feeling. And you're not going to see it. All it was is at that moment, once he actually got out, it was a quick, just a nod and a little fist bump around the pile there, knowing, hey, we got one.
Any injuries? How was he? Was he talking when he was finally out of all the rubble?
He was talking. There were injuries, and that'll be assessed at the University of Louisville. But he was conscious. He was alert. He was oriented. He knew what was going on. He was able to talk through with us. But yeah, he was in a lot of pain. This was a pretty severe accident.
Sir, how did your strategy change from the early afternoon press conference that we had to overtime? Is it around 8:30 rather? All this happened. Obviously, from your years of training, you've seen different situations. How did your hour-by-hour plan change?
Honestly, the plan did not really change. If you look at when anybody that's dealt with trench rescue, confined space rescue, they set out the plan. It just takes a very long time. Because again, we're moving tons and tons of debris by hand, by buckets. And you've got, like I said, you imagine a person at the bottom of the funnel, you have to shore up everything else that's going to keep cascading down to create a safe space and then continue to dig this person out. And as I said, he was completely buried. So when you talk about a person completely buried, you have to dig out completely around the person all the way down to his feet.
You also talked about perhaps 10 to 12 feet earlier. Do you think that was the same assessment once he did come out? Do you think he was a little bit deeper?
So 10 to 12 feet from the area that he initially fell from, down into there. But as far as where he was buried just above his head.
What was going on with those ropes that connected to the crane? Those people that you have to climb off?
So the crane was there simply to be used as what we would call a high point. So we're not going to use the crane to try to haul a person. That would be very dangerous. But it's as a high point. We set up those ropes so we could eventually get a harness on his body, and that way we could take some of the weight off of him. As once we dug down deeper and we're getting down to his feet, we could take some of his body weight and stress off there to make him a little bit of a relief for him and make it easier to dig out around his feet.
Are these the same crews that were out on Tuesday? Same unit, same people?
Some of them same, not some of them different. So we work 24/48. So the units that were normally on duty Tuesday will be on duty tomorrow. So it's a different platoon, but 24/7 our people are trained and ready to respond. It's been a week. It has been, but again, this is what we get this job for. Our firefighters are highly trained. They're highly experienced. In a heavy urban setting like this, unfortunately, these types of things are going to happen. Events are going to happen. Tragedy is going to happen. That's what our profession is predicated upon, and our people are ready to go into action.
Chief, is there any indication as to how he fell into this void? Obviously, fell into a hole, but is there anything that led up to that? Say, distractions, anything that you're able to gather from the...
We don't know anything about that, and we're not going to speculate on that.
How is his family? I know there were a couple of members here just waiting.
I met with his mother earlier this evening. His family is at U of L Hospital right now, so he'll be reunited with them as soon as as soon as the doctors think it's okay. But I did spend some time with his mother earlier this evening to bring her up to date on his condition, on what was happening, and to let her know, to make sure we stayed in communication with her through this entire process.
And
How old is he?
We're not releasing any details yet on him.
Any other questions out here?
what happens next?
So right now, we're going to clear all of our stuff out of the way and turn the scene back over to the construction company that was working on the demolition.
And do you investigate this?
As far as an investigation, that's not something the fire department does.
Can you talk a little bit about the duct work, the blowers, the propane tanks? What were those items doing?
So the duct work was actually, I believe it was MSD that supplied the vacuum truck. Yeah, MSD supplied us with a vacuum truck. That was a large, like a 6-inch pipe. So we were able, rather than having to take every little bit out by buckets, we were able to use that to vacuum a lot of the debris, the dirt, the smaller rocks. When you saw propane tanks, obviously it started to get a little cold. And for an individual like that victim that was stuck in there, he's cold. So what we have is basically it's just hot air. We use those propane tanks to create like a little mini heater that can then push hot air down into that hole to help him to, just make him a little more comfortable. Yes.
Thank you all very much. Have a good night. We'll continue to keep you up to date if there's any additional information. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, y'all.